Auntie, welcome kind of back.
Hello.
For the first time, your appearance on the podcast.
First time, love it. There's a first time for everything.
There's also a second time, apparently.
Yeah.
But we're here. It's looking better, hopefully, and it'll be fine.
I hope so.
But yeah, how you been anyway?
Yeah, I've been good. I've been busy, but good.
Nice. What have you been up to?
I've been working a lot to get money, and I've also been like working on the album a lot. It's nearly finished. I don't know when this will come out, but it'll probably be hopefully it's finished by the time this comes out.
Well, you said you're finishing it today, so by the time this comes out,
well, yeah, but then obviously me finishing my part, and
then waiting for other people,
mixed, mastered, all of that fucking bullshit.
How long does that take? Because I swear it's like
it depends, because I've got like a similar sound in like a lot of my songs. So like the master is not that different every time. A lot of the time he can like run it through the same master and then just tweak little things.
Oh, okay.
So it's like kind of the mix that takes a little bit longer. I'd say like it takes Titan like a few days per song to do that kind of thing. But obviously not like a full 8-hour day, like a few hours a day.
Yeah, sit and work on it until your eyes hurt from looking at a screen. And then
my favourite part is fucking like speaker testing it. Like you go to a car and then you go to someone else's car and you go to speakers and you put it on. Actually, you never put it on Alexa because it's so shit. It's like so shit. It just cuts all of the fucking goodness out of a song. But yeah,
I've never considered that you have to like see what it sounds like on different stuff.
Yeah, I mean, some things can be really different. For example, like some 808s are like really good on the fucking speakers that we use in the studio. Then you go to a car and it's just like it blows everything out. You can't hear anything. It's like, most people are going to be listening to it in a car or headphones. Yeah. So
yeah, because most people don't have a nice studio to like
to go and bump people's songs. Yeah.
That kind of makes sense because we have to do the same thing in like video and photography as well. Like all screens are different. Yeah. So like sometimes you'll be editing something on like your laptop at home, and then we have our like calibrated screen. I'll bring it in. And I'm just like, what happened? Or the worst one is like you finish editing on there, and then you move it to like Instagram, and I'm like, again, you're just like, for fuck's sake, it looks so good.
Instagram really pisses me off though. I'm like, it's you're awful. A fucking photo app. Like, you're a photo and video app.
And it's never right.
You ruin the fucking quality of everything.
It also just, like, takes out... I think it... Like, I've noticed, like, sometimes I'll shoot stuff that are slightly more, like, blue in tone, but not blue to the point they're, like, blue. They're just, like, a little bit cooler. And Instagram seems to have this, like, self-correct thing where it tries to put it back to, like... Like,
almost like a yellowy...
Yeah, like push it slightly back towards that way so it's like back in the middle. Yeah. So if I want all the whites to be slightly blue, it will warm it up. And I'm like, no, now it just looks grey. Yeah. Like, no, it just looks dead. I'm like, fuck off. Yeah. Leave it alone. Like, I'm not going to rant about Instagram. I've done that enough on this show.
Cool off.
It's too easy to do.
Yeah, so it's very similar. It's the same thing, really. You just check it on everything. It is slightly annoying though, because like sometimes you'll be like right at the end, and me and Titan will be like, "Oh my god, like we've finished," and then we'll go in the car. We'll be like, "No, we haven't."
There's fucking so much more work to do.
So that's all I've been doing really. Just working on shit, you know, planning like shoots and music videos and gigs and all that.
Yeah, because now you've got to plan all the promotion around it as well, which is also like
that's a whole new thing. That's like not the fun part. I can't lie. Like
what, the organising of it?
It's just like the promo, just the fucking like because the album for me, like that's what I love doing. That's why I make music. It's giving people like, it's like putting a message out there. The promo is just like, look at this,
please listen to us.
Please listen. Yeah, literally.
That's what it feels like, having to do like the reels for the podcast and stuff. But it's just like people are so lazy that like even if you tell them about it, like they need to be like,
bro, don't get me started. They need they need something like once every few days. Like, I want, and even for a gig, I've noticed like when you look at ticket sales, it's like you're pushing this thing on people for like what 3, 4, 5 weeks, right? And like within the first 4 weeks, there's like a couple of people. And then people are just so lazy. They're just like, yeah, I'll do that later. Yeah, I'll do that later. I mean, I'm guilty of it. Like,
oh yeah, big time.
I'll do that later.
My move is I'm always just like, I'll just get a ticket on the door.
Yeah, get a ticket on the door, but I'm like,
and then I get annoyed. I have to pay £2 more.
Literally, I'm like,
and it's like fully my own fault.
A few buttons and get a ticket, like when you want to go. But no, you just have to sort of drip feed. Oh, by the way, reminder.
Yeah, and then you have to prove why to them it's worth going.
Yeah.
I feel like with gigs it's harder as well because no one wants to buy the ticket because they're like, what if there's no one else going?
Yeah. It's that
and then you're like, well, no one else is going because you need to buy the... It's like a cycle that goes around.
It's herd mentality, and it really fucking pisses me off because it's like, it's that for a gig. It's like, oh, what if no one else goes? Like, da-da-da. But then it's also the same for like music and like, you know, finding an artist
everything.
that you like. And it's like people will not want to admit that they like an artist until they know that loads of people like an artist. Like
that's true,
it's
actually.
so fucking annoying. It's
like
just
people treat it like a little guilty pleasure,
100%.
and then they'll like hide behind it.
Yeah,
but
but
it's
then
like
when you blow up, it's like, oh yeah, like I've listened to Anti for so long. It's like, where were you? Where were you then?
And it's all that stuff, and it's like you're probably, I don't know whether you find this because you do, like you say, you've got a very consistent sound, but you do hot styles somewhat. People, if you do anything different, people just forget you. Like I have that. I post a different style of photo, and it's just like it goes from getting like 100 likes. Oh, it's like it's not the same as the last one. 32 likes, and you're like, great.
Yeah, I mean,
thanks Instagram.
I don't. To be honest with you, I think because it's all very much still anti. I don't get that like crazy amounts, but I do notice like it's weird. Like some of my favorites that I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait to do this. Like they're slightly more. I don't know whether I'd say experimental. They're slightly more like storytelling, and like people are just like, what the fuck. Like skip, like skip. Go to the next one. They just want to like, they just want to bop their heads, you know, and like listen.
Switch
to
their brain off.
Yeah, like 100%. They want to hear me like.
Which songs do you put in that category of like the storytelling ones?
So I can't lie. I'm gonna go back to Paradox, yeah. Okay. And let's be real, the fucking mixes are shit. Like. Even the way I'm like singing it, I was like such a baby. It was the first thing I ever recorded. It was in Titan's bedroom. Like wasn't even in the studio yet. We didn't even fucking have that.
But it was so cool. It was like,
yeah, it was cool, yeah. But like Swan for me, like as a song, I fucking love that song so much, and it's because it's like it's more of just like a story. It's more like poetic. And it's like the least listened to song ever. I kind of understand that one a little bit more because the mix, like let's be real, it's just really, it's almost like I'm in an empty stadium. Like I'm just like singing really quietly.
I can't lie though, like I guess as well, what Paradox was 4 tracks. Yeah. And it had to compete with probably your most well-known song. Yeah. Which was Narcissist. Yeah.
And see, for me, like, Narcissist is just quite an accessible song. Like, anyone could have fucking written
my mum said she liked it. Like, that's, you know what I mean? That's a marker.
Shout out Mumsy, but like...
If a song from, like, this town, like, local, like, artists and stuff that I listen to and my mum says she likes it, then you know it's accessible. Yeah. But, yeah, it competed with that. And then there was Knots on there. There was one more song as well.
Jedi. We just don't speak still no, it's like, do you know what, I love that project as a whole because like it was just so like it was just so raw. I was like I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know who I was writing for. I didn't know if it was going to work, if it wasn't. I didn't even know how to project my voice properly. So I just love it. It's just such a raw little like thing.
And it's cool because you often find that with like people's early work that it is just like almost feels like throwing something out there and just being like, here's a bunch of ideas that, and because it's the first thing you've put out, they're probably ideas you've sat on since you were like born, possibly. Like it's all that build up. It's like anything after that is like, so I can't remember what the release time between like Paradox and like the next project Anti-Life was, but Anti-Life is I think
it was like a year.
Yeah.
On the dot actually.
So in theory, like with me as well, with second projects, it's like, or stuff, it's like the early work for artists, it's like their whole life converges, and then the second project is like based off the first projects, and you have that weird...
It's like, I kind of know what I'm doing now. I kind of know like what works for them, like the people listening.
And trying to refine it and trying to do it better. But it's sometimes ends up...
worse.
Sometimes, yeah. I wouldn't say Anti-Life was worse.
Way,
I reckon.
No way. I think Anti-Life has songs on it that like blow even Narcissist out the park. Like Hell's Jungle for me...
Yeah, you've said that's your like favorite one.
It's a better song than Narcissist.
It is good.
Let's be real. It's just so more. It's just like so much more like different, and like it's more poetic, but it's not too poetic where you kind of just stop listening.
Yeah. And as well, the one that when you said about songs that people don't listen to but are like a bit more, like feel a bit more personal, I thought you were gonna say Grim Wave.
I love Grim Wave. That was another one. So
cool.
The first thing my mind went to was Paradox, just because I was like, my brain just went in order. But like Grim Wave is like my fucking favorite song. That's one of my favorite. I'm going to keep saying one of my favorites, to be fair, because it's
every
my
single
music.
song as we work through.
Yeah. Well, at least you know I'm the real deal and I like my own shit. But no, Grim Wave is so good. Like it's so personal to me as well. And I'm just like, I thought out of Anti-Life, I thought Grim Wave and, to be fair, like Hell's Jungle was already out and Requisition and Malice was already out. But I did think Grim Wave was going to do a lot better. But on the whole album, it's the least listened to song. I'm like, oh. Yeah,
which is weird. But I also wonder whether that comes from like, that album also, in my head, ties in very much with like live. Like a lot of people who listen to it, the songs that are memorable live, like Drug High is like a big one live. Also Swamp as well is like...
No, I do get that.
And Hell's Jungle as well.
When you're like immersed in it, it's totally different. There are even some artists, like as a whole, their whole discography, I'm like, I would never put you on the Aux, but live, like that shit slaps.
Yeah. And the other way around. And I think Grim Wave, because it is more of like, you listen to that song in your headphones.
When you're
in
feeling
your bedroom.
some sort of way.
Like that Grim Wave isn't a song you put onto a room of drunken people at the pub. Like it's like in the best possible way. Like it's like you say, people want to bop their head, and it's not a bop your head song.
It's kind of like think about yourself.
It's a bit of a bummer, but in like a good way. Like,
but that's kind of all you get with me. It's like in your face, like bop your head, break your fucking neck in a mosh pit, or it's like.
And then go the other way.
Oh, I'm not feeling too good today.
Which is good as well, because I do find like there's a balance in that. Yeah, and it 100. Kind of fulfills a whole thing. As there's like some bands where they go like heavily one way, and then it's like too much. Like, or like other bands that have blended it really well. Like, do you know Turnstile?
Yeah, I do.
You know the Glow On album?
I don't know too much. My God. No, I can't lie. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah.
So they were like a pretty standard hardcore band, sort of like punk rock sort of thing. And then they released Glow On, which has some like really calm moments in it as well. And they like it shouldn't work, but it perfectly complements these songs that are clearly like the song starts and you mosh pit until the song ends. Versus these ones that are definitely like you stand there after a mosh pit and just take in the sweat, and it kind of gives you time to sort of consider too. As there's other bands that are like, you know, name a punk band in Northampton that are just trying to be louder than the last one.
Yeah, literally.
Let's play louder, let's play faster, let's try and cause more chaos, and it doesn't quite work all the time if it doesn't have the underlying stuff.
That would be a good example of like if they were to just fucking do that, and then randomly release like a slow one, everyone would just be like, what? Like what?
I think it still has to fit in, which I think like Grim Wave does still fit in with like everything else. It just pushes it slightly more this way as like something like Hell's Jungle. It's just more personal,
isn't it? Like Hell's Jungle is about being on drugs and being like, oh, what the fuck? Like everybody's done that. Like, well, I'm assuming everybody that's listened has been like either too high or like, you know, whatever. But then like Grimwave is about, you know, like you got to get more personal, more real with yourself, and like,
and sort of
I feel like that's very anti to do that. Like in like, it's just very anti to have one song where it's like, yeah, fuck everyone, I'm high, whatever, and then the other song be like, but think about it though.
Well, and as well, like it's also that thing that you've always sort of done, which is like hop around different genres and play around with stuff. Like even though you're coming back to that sort of really, which you can only do because you have such a solid foundation and a sound and a style that allows you to then explore these things. But I remember like during the sort of paradox to anti-life bit, when like say Kerry was playing on the radio, they'd always introduce it as like anti who's hopping around genres. Like that was the first thing people sort of latched into, and it kind of became a bit more your thing. Like but I feel like if you were genuinely just like, you can't also be someone who's just like, I'm going to release a drum and bass track and then I'm going to release a pop song, then I'm going to release a different, because then you're just making generic shit that fits genres.
I think I'm quite lucky because of the way I established it at first, like and also the way I make music, because like I've explained this on a few interviews, and I explain this a lot because people often just want to be like, but what genre is it? And I'm like, I can't tell you that because it's not like a genre. Well, it's like it's its own thing really, where I make music that expresses how I feel, and like different beats and different songs and different genres make me feel different ways. So like, they bring out different things in me, and so why would I just stick to being angry and on like angry beats, or being sad on sad beats, when like sometimes like duality, man, like sometimes I wake up and I'm fucking gassed, like why can't I then hop on a hyper pop song and be like, I love everyone, you know what I mean? But no, I think if we bring this back to like the actual album that I'm making now, it's called Everything Always Forever, so it's about that, you know, the balance of sometimes you're going to feel like shit, sometimes you're going to feel on top of the world, but you're still a person. And like, it's art. This is how art's made, you know?
Yeah, and that's good, because I guess, I don't know about you, but it feels like this is a relatively new thing that's happening with bands and stuff, like not having such like defined images. Like if you go back to like a Nirvana song was a Nirvana song, and to be fair, they had like a short career, but like there wasn't, it was just like, you knew what you were getting on the tin
every single time, and you were expecting that, and you weren't like upset when you got it, you know? But
it's just like now I think people like being surprised a bit more, and they want a little bit more from artists with sort of exploring these things. And as well, I think maybe it comes from like a little bit, I think people are sick of genres.
Because there's too many now. Like we've gone to the point, it's gone almost full circle. I kind of agree with what you're saying. I don't know how often it's being done, like what you're saying, but I do agree, because people do this thing where like we get so greedy, and we go like so in excess of things that we just are like forced to do a full circle, and it's like we've gone to fucking, what is it, like just fucking ridiculous things like hyper pop trash core, fucking punk X, like goth, you know, it's like, when are you gonna stop doing that? Like, cause
there's only so many things you can kind of stick together until you have to just come up with something. And I guess you're just kind of having these artists that maybe would say they produced a drum and bass track, it would be nothing miraculous, but their creative decision was to add in elements of some other genre, but then you still have two generic things pushing together. And I think it got a bit out of control, like especially, I don't know when it happened, but it feels recently.
It feels very recent.
And I have a feeling, do you remember in like 2010, like EDM got really popular, like, and like dubstep, and like, but everyone was like, this isn't dubstep, it's liquid drum and bass. It's intelligent dance music. And I think that's where it started, and then it kind of got out of control with sort of like...
But the thing is, if you like deep it as well, like the same thing has happened with people. Like we're so fucking caught up on like how we're different, rather than, you know, like even the way we dress, it's like, I'm not emo, I'm fucking, I don't know, you know what I mean?
I do, I get what you mean, because and I'm aware of it on the level of like, I think it's because we all have Instagram accounts. So like I'm complaining, like, I want to fucking post a picture of, I don't fucking know, but people like expect from me to post a gig photo. And then when I don't do that, Instagram gets pissed off with me. And then I'm like, fuck off, let me do what I fucking want. Which I feel like you could get away with a lot more in like pre-social media times. But now with social media, it just punishes you for being different. And I think people who are producing stuff and artists and stuff have always kind of been aware of like having to brand yourself on social media. Where it gets interesting is like normal people. Like Lucy did a bunch of research on like all the different types of I can't remember what it was called. It was like there was just like different types of girl on like TikTok. So there was like the goth girl, the punk girl, the tomato girl was one of them that I found hilarious. And there's like all these different, and you had to like pick an aesthetic, and that is your personality.
And you can't really stray from that.
Yeah, and like you have like the clown girl or whatever got popular, which is crazy because you have all these young kids dressing fucking wildly, but like as well, I feel like you get too attached to certain things.
And you also get too attached to being like how am I being perceived? How am I being perceived? Bro, no one gives a actual fuck. Like realistically, cool, like there are so many people that like are just addicted to like visually like seeing people. And this is why I deleted TikTok, because I felt so pressured to like be a specific type of woman on TikTok. Yeah. Like in order to make people either notice me or like listen to my music. And I was like, this just goes against everything that I stand for.
Like
it's addictive. It's like it's just dopamine. Oh, that girl's like hot. That girl's lang. Oh, she's wearing a fucking cosplay. Oh, that's lang. Like, bro, what are we doing? What is that saying about women? Like, and just men, I guess, because like they're fucking men that are doing it. Everyone.
Like the men are looking at it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a nightmare, and it's just sort of like.
But what's wild to me is that on the internet is so fucking popular and it's trending. It's this and stuff. Like, but then you see it out in person, and it's like a lot of the time people are like, what the fuck are they wearing? Like, da da da. Yeah. You know?
Well, it's because the internet's run by like what gets popular on the internet is what people think it's representative of, like what's popular in the world. No. It's popular to like, well, even younger now, but it was like when Logan Paul was the most popular YouTuber. His fans were all 11.
Paul,
Anyone with like a bit older was like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Now with TikTok's like 8-year-olds are on it. You know what I mean? So the internet's run by kids. It's a kid's version of the world.
Which
you know
what I mean?
Is
so fucking damaging.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because everyone is like you're saying, trying to fit in and like appeal to get the most likes. And it's like, who has time to sit on TikTok for that long and follow and interact with all these accounts? Kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
true.
It's like you're letting your entire identity fall upon either kids or people who are like not doing much because they're on social media.
Yeah,
you know
not
what I mean?
in a very good place.
Yeah. And it's weird, like, and I think it's always been a bit human behavior because everyone wants to like somewhat fit in. No one wants to like, and like it's ironic, like people want to stand out, but then,
but in a group of people,
you still want to be like, I'm different. These are my guys. It's like you're still part of. You're just making a different group, and like I can't remember who said it. Some old skateboarder. Might have been Lance Mountain actually, but he was like talking about how like skateboarding in the 80s, it got like everyone wanted to be different from like normal people, and then all the skaters ended up the same as each other.
Yeah.
And then we all wanted to be different from each other, so you end up just getting like these weird separations and trying to outdo each other.
Well, that's what happens. Being weird. Like, humans just get really cliquey about things. That's especially what I've found with the music scene. It's just like, or just artists in general. Like everybody is supportive, but like everybody wants to do better, and like
Yeah.
the next person and wants to do, or even in wanting to do better, will like copy something from someone, and like you know
is people are very good at being supportive when they think they're ahead of other people.
Yeah.
Like they'll be supportive to like the new kid until that new kid starts doing well, and then they're like,
and then it's like, well,
actually you're a threat now.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck off. But like, which again is like the clickiness and stuff like that, and like, music's a very weird place, and people try and claim being like, we're this genre, so like we're with this band, this band, this band, this band, but like not this band. And people will also like there's varying different scenes pop up that like will try and claim like artists being like they're part of our thing because we were inspired, and it's like they're nothing to do. They're doing something totally different, and I don't think they'd agree. But like it's strange.
I'm not really. I want to move away from that. Like I've experienced it like very much in the past like year, the 6 months to a year. And like all I've learned is that I want nothing to do with it. If anything, it's reiterated anti. Because like I think last time, we had a conversation about like me moving away from like myself a little bit to like write for other people. And I think in unassociated by association, I was kind of doing that, and it was like I was kind of like, what did they want to hear? Like, what can I give them that's so different that they would still fuck with? And it's like I ended up just writing a little fucking EP that was just like, look at me, I'm flexing, like, woo, I'm so sick. It's like that's not really what I'm about. But then I obviously is like from that album EP, doing like gigs in London and like being more involved in the Brighton scene, and just seeing like so many different types of characters within the scene. It's just reiterated like, no, like I make music for myself, and that's quite a, like I'll keep that for myself because it's quite a different way of making art, you know, or making music especially. And it's just kind of reiterated, okay, no, I don't like people still. I am still anti, and like I think it really helped the album actually. It really did. Cause
well, I think it's not even like just not liking people and not wanting to. It's not wanting to produce. It's not feeling like you've built your own little prison. Because eventually, like you'll do something once, and someone will praise it, and human nature is to be like, I'll just do it again. I'll get the praise again. And then what either happens is you repeat yourself so many times that people just get bored of it and move on, or you get sort of stuck in a place where you're like if you don't
even like the shit that you're doing anymore.
Like if you did something that you didn't like, and then people are like, that was the sickest thing ever, and you're like, fuck, now I've got to do it again because that's what the world wants me to do. And then it just leads you to be like, cool, have it, I don't care, like deal with it, like but and then which is a dangerous place to like, it's easy to fall into as well.
It's really easy.
Like, I think it's interesting to hear a musician speak about it as well, because I thought it was kind of like more relevant to photographers and videographers, because we're always doing shit for other people. So it's very easy just to slide into suddenly just being like, oh, that's somewhat weird, let's go see what that's about. And then suddenly you're like thrown headlong into something that's just like all consuming, and you're like, fuck.
I think maybe the difference might be that with artists that make music, like when I was doing it for other people, I didn't even fucking realize until like I took a step back and was like, that wasn't really my best, like for me personally, it wasn't my best kind of thing. Like everyone's still like, oh yeah, it was sick, like whatever. It's still doing pretty well. It's just like you only realize when you take a step back and you're like, why do I make music? Or like when you start a new project and you're like I did write a few songs after Unassociated by Association like that, but then I was like, I'm not having fun doing this anymore, and it's not really being true to myself. And then like, and
I guess it's that thing as well, like if it's what do you want to get out from doing a project? Because for most people it's like it like, you don't make art to be like, and everyone will love me, and I'll have like, so you have to sort of, when you start doing it for other people, you lean in closer and closer to like, I'm doing music this way to get 10 million streams. Yeah. And then when that doesn't happen, it's like your whole motivation to doing it is like gone. As like, if you can figure out the reasons why you want a project to exist, or like what you're like, with my thing, it's always like, if I'm making like a book or whatever, like my actual like personal work, it's like, where's the fun for me? Like, I could just go make a bunch of photos that like look cool, but if I'm not learning something or don't have a point, then like, who gives a shit? Like, yeah. So, but yeah, and as well, like, sometimes you do like slip into it, even with personal work. You're just like producing shit that you know is going to get
especially
that
like
same response.
The rate of like the speed in which the fucking scene goes, like I found, especially with music, it's like one person's dropped, then one person's dropped, then and it's like, oh, I need to drop because and then it's like, that's what gets you caught up in the whole like, what will the people want right now? Like, what do the people want? Oh, that person's just dropped that, I need to do something like, you know, it's just
complimentary because that did well. So how do I hop on that? And
100.
How
and
do
it's
I?
Like after a certain amount of time, I found with the scene, like a lot of artists in the music scene are not making music for themselves. Like they're literally
they're like gunning for be like, how do I get successful or whatever they deem successful, which is not usually is like, how do I get thousands of streams and fans and be able to make a living or whatever.
When really it's like, well, is that art at that point?
Like, and also when's the cutoff for what you consider the success to be? Because it's like, they could end up doing stadiums and stuff, and then they'll still be like, no, I've not got enough, but what do I do to appeal to people even more?
When does it go from like not even writing to yourself to like having a fucking ghostwriter? You know what I mean? That just like pumps out your songs for you, and you're just this fucking puppet for them.
And when does it really get away from itself? And
when are you selling your soul, basically, for
pretty
that?
much.
You know what I mean? Not even in the sense of like literally. It's just like, when are you not really acting truthfully to yourself to impress other people? Like, get a certain amount of money.
And as well, like, we find it, like, obviously we do a lot of podcasts and stuff, and we do podcasts for other people as one of our services. And the problem we have is people come to us and they're like, so they're like, we want to be in the top 10% of podcasts by this time. And you're like, well, it doesn't work like that. What are you actually trying to get out of the podcast? What do you want to talk about? What type of people do you want to listen to the show? And also, like, when we've started like pitching these, we change it from like being like, how we'll look at growing your audience, to being like, we've changed it to audience health, because we're like, and the same like with me and Alex have had since we started this place. It's like, we'd rather have like 10 cool people who are like constantly coming to us and like interacting with the stuff we do, than like 10,000 people who are all in like America, not really like, they like stuff on Instagram, but they're not really, they won't come to an exhibition, they won't hire us.
Like, that is art, you know, like just that right there. And like, I like that term, like audience health, because like, how are you gonna,
which is a bit of a corporate-y way of putting it, but I think it can be like
I just shifted. Like it because it's like, it implies that like, you know, how are you looking after the people that are, because realistically the audience is who's doing shit for us. Like, we're making music, we're doing podcasts, we're taking photos, but like, they allow us to do that by being supportive and listening and watching, liking, sharing. So it's like, you should be taking care of them and like not just being like, okay, more, give me more, give me more, give me more.
And treating people like numbers, where it's like, you mean 100 people are listening to it, and being like, that's fuck all. And then being like, no, I need 10,000 people. It's like, yeah, but what are the other 9,900 doing that the original 100 weren't giving you?
And you think as well as like a lot of like local people, local musicians, whatever, like they're so like caught up in the numbers, and it's like, like only 100 people listened. It's like, yeah, but imagine being in a room with those 100 people playing to them, like when they're sweating and singing your songs back to you, or have 500 that like the 400 don't really give a fuck. You're just on a playlist that they heard.
Yeah.
And they'll just be there stood at the fucking back a meter away from everyone, like bopping their head very slowly.
Literally. Like, and like you say with local bands, like I've been to gigs for bands that have like 80 monthly listeners and they've been fucking crazy because they put on a good show and people have a good time. Like, and I've also been to bands that have supposedly, you know, 5 figures of followers and you've been there and you're like, no, where is everyone? Like, where are they all then? You know what I mean? It's like that sort of thing of trying to like just finding the right reasons for doing it and nurturing that environment, and people feel like people will engage more if there's like
and again,
a reason behind it.
It comes back to balance. Like a lot of the things that we're talking about, it just comes back to balance of like you know, look after the people you have, but also like obviously your aim is to grow and be successful and be able to make money from things that you love doing.
But that should be like a byproduct.
Yeah, 100.
Of like
100, and that's
doing
what
everything
a lot of
else you
people
can
don't realize. A lot of people are like in these fucking like get rich quick kind of things, and it's like you're not. Then you might as well just fucking work a corporate job, right? If that's your goal.
Yeah, if you're trying to make a shit ton of money as quickly as possible, like don't do anything creative. Like
Exactly.
But, yeah, like you know, we sacrifice all of that sort of comfort, I guess, to be able to push out something. I mean, and it's like, how many times have we heard it? People being like, I'm just going to push out shit that's going to be popular, and then when I'm popular, then I'm going to start making the shit I want to make. And it's like,
you're a dickhead. I'm sorry, no. If you've ever said that, you're a dickhead. And this is why, right? Because you just end up losing yourself. And it's like...
But it's like you can make the shit you want to make now.
Yeah.
Like, what's the...
Yeah. Or
like, what do you gain?
Like, listen to big man whispering in your ear going, oh, you need to make... Wait. No, don't make me laugh. That's so funny. I'm trying to be serious here, Joe.
No, but it's
true,
it makes sense.
Right?
And it's
You're
like...
listening to someone else telling you what art you need to make.
Yeah. And it comes back to as well, like, okay, so you made stuff for a popular audience. You've got 1 million fans. And then what? You're going to go drop something that you had the idea for 10 years ago. Exactly. And like they're just going to turn around and be like, what the fuck is this? This is completely different.
A lot of the fucking people that were there for you, that were riding for you from day one, and like you start pushing out, for example, I mean, it's almost always pop, right? So we'll go, I'm going to start pushing out pop, and then all of these people that were like with you from day one, from either the underground or the fucking whatever music you were making before, they lose respect for you. And it's like, that's where audience health matters. Because then those people are just like, well, why would I listen to pop when 1 million man are doing pop? I can listen to anyone and hear the same sounds that you're giving me, and you're not even saying anything different. So
like, especially like you say, it's always pop, but maybe it can be any genre. But normally when you're doing it without something to say, you're just making genre pieces. Yeah. Which is like cool, but same with any genre. It's like if I wanted to go listen to fucking rap music, I'll go listen to someone else. If you're not going to do it properly,
better. Like there are people up there doing it better. So like if it's not true to you, the people up there that are doing it better too, like if that's true to them, that's why they're doing it better. There are people, just for example, like you want to be a fucking like, I don't know, you want to be a drill artist, and like you've been making sort of underground, like more hard shit, but then like you get a manager or whatever, and you want to start making drill, because drill's fucking popping off right now. You start making half-ass drill. I can go and just type in drill on Spotify, and 10 man will pop up before you that are better than you and are doing it already.
And so you could probably AI generate those type of artists.
100%.
Like just
100. Like what can you, like, this is what I love about art. It's so personal. It's like, AI can generate art, AI can generate songs, blah, blah, blah. But like it can't give me this whole personal, like,
it hasn't lived your experience.
Exactly.
And that's also like for any art form, not even just music. It's like you've got to consider like what what makes me the person to produce this thing. And normally it comes down to some sort of personal reason that ties you in, and like
that's what's beautiful about it. That's why I get so annoyed when it's like, what can I just produce to like get I'll just take photos of it's like you just being like, oh, everyone wants me to take photos of gigs, so I'll just take photos of gigs. I won't really put my heart in it, and then when I'm up there from taking photos of gigs, then I'll start taking photos of flowers. You think everyone that's
just like doesn't
supported you for
sense.
the gigs are going to be like, why the fuck? Like, why am I looking at flowers right now, Joe?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Which they also are, I feel like, but you know.
I mean,
I think maybe I've pushed it to probably a more aggressive extreme than I should have, but that's also just like, I think that comes from like, we're all early career creatives when you break it down. Like no matter how successful, like none of us have been doing it that long. None of us are that old. Well, some people are, like we know, but you know, like in the grand scheme of things,
R.I.P.
like, but like, so in my head, like I've been on my journey since I first picked up a camera. And there was multiple years where no one saw any of my photography. You know what I mean? So in people's heads, like people started learning of who I was through the gig stuff. So in their head, it's like he's always been a gig guy, as there's all this other work that's not been seen by people. That like, I started gigs just because it was like borderline just opportunism. Like it was just like, okay, so I'm at the skate park. Someone got me to do photos, and then it was Cameron. Like Cameron saw I did photos for someone else at the skate park. Got me to do a band shoot, and I was like, let's see about this. And then he invited me to a gig, and I was like, oh, I didn't know there were gigs in town. Like, you know what I mean?
But that's what I mean. Like for you, that was still authentic because like you were excited by the gigs, and you've always been a music person. Like you follow the scenes, like all that kind of thing. Like,
I mean, saying someone's a music person, like, I listen to music. It's like fucking everyone does. But
no, do you know what,
I mean?
Joe? I'm actually not joking. Some people don't listen to music like that. Like some people don't. Do you remember Zach? Like my friend Zach, my old friend.
Maybe.
Like ages ago, maybe he might have fizzled out by the time you guys come in. But like he did not listen to music. Like I was like, it would be like, oh, just put a playlist on. Oh, I don't have any playlists. I'm like, what? I'm like, what?
Okay, yeah, that's crazy.
He didn't even have headphones to like go and like it's fucking crazy. Ooh. Like people don't listen. Some people don't. But anyway, that was digression. Like,
but yeah, maybe I'm being pedantic as well, being like, oh, everyone fucking listens to me. But I think it was just like it made sense on my timeline because it was like that's the people I'm around. Like this is basically our age group in our town that I'm a part of. Like that's also the struggle I have going to other places. Like I'm kind of like, no matter like, and I still enjoy doing it. Like, don't get me wrong. If you want me to come shoot a gig, I will happily do it. But like,
this is the opposite of promo right now. Don't fucking get me to go anywhere other than Northampton.
But I feel like I can shoot images that like, if someone blindly saw the two images next to each other, and one was say shot in name a place that isn't here, and one was shot in Northampton, like on the surface they're equal. Like they can both be good images, but in terms of like me, like the Northampton one's always good from that era specifically is going to be better because I was actually like, it was my place to be part of that. As that I'm like an outsider stepping in. Like I can look at all the pictures in like the Northampton book and I can point out multiple faces and multiple things and be like, oh, and then this person did this and then they appear again here and stuff like that. As the other one, I'm just like, they are just like, I'm sure they are people then, but they are just like, I don't know them. I'll probably never see them again. Like
just
maybe even the band I met.
Out of it a little bit.
Yeah, and like especially for like trying to like, I can't top I can top that, but it can't be in the format of gigs because it's like it's a totally different scene now.
Yeah,
fucking
it really is. Like, it really is.
How many bands that did exist don't exist, have changed. You know, there's a whole bunch of new kids. It's like, and there's probably some young talented photographer in that group of kids that will go and make their version. You know what I mean? But it's not my place as like essentially the fucking old guy to walk in and do it again. Because there's a certain
also
point
it just wouldn't be the same Because your heart wouldn't be in it 100% either.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Because it's not my actual life anymore. It's me stepping into a different world and stuff. And it's interesting, but it's still like not as pure as it could be. Yeah. Like as just fucking going, which, it's kind of annoying, but still.
You move on, and like when something closes, fucking 50,000 more doors open. Seriously, like you just have to close the door yourself.
Yeah, and sort of not. It's like a weird thing, people are like, don't dwell on mistakes. It's like, I also find it's equally important not to like dwell on success either, because that's what really traps you in sort of not moving forward. You're kind of going, well, I've succeeded, there's nowhere else for me to go. And it's like, hopefully we'll be around for another 60, 70, 80 years, some of us. Like, that's a long time to not go anywhere else.
Yeah, true.
Like, you're going to get bored.
And that's how people fucking stay local. Local artist, local photographer, local... No, God. Please. And if I get to 30, and there will be someone that gets offended, but if I get to 30 and I am a local artist, I didn't do what I came here to do,
That's fair.
Like, same with you guys. I'm sorry. I'll be disappointed in you guys.
Yeah, and I think it's like a difficult thing to balance, because it's like when you say, like, local has this like positive spin, but also like a negative connotation as well. Like, you want to, like, I think there's an importance in it, because
you're staying true to where you're from.
Yeah. But like, you don't want to be limited to that. Yeah. You want to also be like going to other places occasionally. You want to be able to not feel like you're local because you can't go somewhere else because you're seen as shit then.
When I think of local something, I think of you've gone past when you could have made it, sort of thing. So like you've just stayed where you are. Stayed stationary,
not tried to push it.
I don't literally mean like you're local to Northampton. I don't mean like,
Yeah.
If I ever live back here when I'm older, then I've not made it. It's like, no. It's like, if I'm here and I'm not anywhere higher than where I am now.
Yeah. I think it becomes an issue when your main selling point is that, like, well, they're local. That thing. Yeah. It's like, oh, they're not that good, but they're local. You know what I mean? Isn't that cool? Isn't it cool? They live around the corner from the pub.
Gig at Garibaldi. Not much going on. Not got any other plans. So, no, not me.
That's what you don't want. It's like, you want people to be excited about it no matter where you go. You know what I mean? And not, like you say, not limit yourself to those boundaries, but like you can still, stay true to it and sort of be good. Like the biggest thing, like I think because a lot of Photomafia's planning came from like the ideas of like skate shops and stuff and those ideals, which like skate shops is very heavily like support local, like fuck it. But there's a difference between the local shop that like you go to the next town over and they're like, your shop is shit. There's nothing in there. You can't buy it. It's dead. Versus like having a really cool local shop that people like, oh yeah, if I'm in Northampton, I go into your skate shop and say hi. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's always been in the back of my mind that there is a way to be like, well, you should support local, and being like, oh, damn it, I have to. But versus like, no, I'm going to be, represent it and go for it and it'd be good.
There is a massive difference. I kind of just like, I maybe assume when I hear local this. And I don't mean, because for you guys, like, it's so important to be local because like you are.
And I think we have this physical space as well.
Yeah, physically you are local too.
And a lot of the goals of it were to help people in the area as well. Like we wanted something for, the art people to come together around, like because there wasn't really anything else like that was for, our corner of the scene that's a little more out there and weird. There's places in Northampton, like if you're a young artist, like you can go to the gallery in town, you can go get involved in like their professional development workshops versus like what we do, which is a little bit more for people who are like a bit outside of that.
Yeah. And it's just it's more laid back. It feels less, you know, like preachy as well. It's like just be yourself kind of thing. But that's
But I think the mission, like what means, no, I can't even fucking talk. What means the most to us is like people still come from like other places and we explain what we're doing like in detail, and they're still excited about it even though they're not in the town. And they 100%. Go, that's really cool. I wish there was a similar thing somewhere else, or like, you know, and they're never gonna, like, they're not, like, our goal is not to make everyone up and move to Northampton, but like to be like, oh, there is something here that's not worth looking at twice, and it's like it exists on its own level, is kind of nice.
Yeah, and I feel like you're already getting there, to be fair, like
slowly but surely.
Yeah.
I think it's like a long, but it was always going to be a slow process.
Not really slowly either, like, you think about, like,
I mean, yeah, in the grand, like, we've been here 2 years, like,
that's really
we've done a lot.
Long time.
I think it just feels long when you're in day in, day out, 100%. But like, but I think like that's important as well, because to look back on, you're like, when the fuck did all this happen? Like, it does feel like a rush, but
I get the same when it's like, when people are like, how long have you been making music? And like my brain goes fucking forever, and I'm like, I'm still here. But really, I'm like, 2021? Like,
that's like a blink of the eye. Like,
I'm a baby.
And in people's head as well, what's that like? Same here, where it's like post-COVID. So people think post-COVID is like a year. Like, you know, time got fucked up along the way and doesn't make sense anymore. So 100%. Technically this appeared overnight and just exists now. Like,
technically I'm 18 still, you know.
And everything's happening all at once. But yeah, it's strange. And what are we on about?
I don't fucking know.
We've fucking gone off the rails.
I really do not know what we're on about anymore.
We've gone really off the rails. What there's a single coming out.
Yes.
Around similar-ish time to this.
I think, hopefully, if this goes correctly. It's called SOS. We filmed a music video, didn't we?
We did. Which people can thank the music video for why the podcast looks better, because we bought new lights for it.
Yes. The lighting is so beautiful in the shots. Did you look through, or did you just kind of be like, fucking send it to her and stop?
I did a bit. There was just, I didn't want to send it to you, and then you were like, guys, every shot's corrupted or something. I wanted to check it was like sending you the right stuff. But yeah, like, obviously we saw it when it was there, like on the back of the camera, and I was like
the so below shots are so beautiful. Like the smoke and the red, so beautiful. Cool. So SOS comes out in a few days' time. It's basically like, I had like almost borderline finished what I knew was going to be on the album before I picked the single, because like I wanted to give people like an exact, like the perfect song to explain the whole fucking album. And I think SOS really grabs it right in the middle, where it's like, it is just about balance, you know, it's about fucking growth and feelings and all of that shit. And I just think SOS is actually also like quite central in the album, like in terms of if you play it from start to finish. So it kind of, it brings all of the darkness from like, you know, the more sadder songs, but then it's also got quite a positive message of the more positive songs. And I just thought like, I'll put that out there. It's perfect for what I'm trying to show you guys. And so is the music video, I guess, because we did a bit of a as above, so below
to feed
type
into
thing.
it, which was super cool. And like, it was like you say, it was like quite a simple concept, but like I think sometimes that's
necessary.
Especially with a music video, because it can be like low key, a music video needs to get out of the way so the song can come through. Because otherwise you can have ones where it's just like so much shit going on in the music video, you're trying to follow that and then you're not actually listening to this, and like vice versa.
It's like so visually it's perfect for like actually listen to the song, but then also get the same thing from the video without it being,
and match those messages visually rather than in terms of lyrically.
Yeah, it was also really fun to do. I was quite drunk at the.
Oh my god! It was.
Don't say it. Oh my god, like that.
It was so funny. It was just like a slow build up throughout the day, and then towards the end. But it was the way we'd arranged the filming, it made sense.
Yeah,
so in theory,
kind of
method acting.
It was method acting because, like, you know, more angelic, more like. More innocent, more pure, and then fucking hell, I'm shit-faced in my bedroom and there's cameras on me, there's smoke behind me. It was so fun. It was such a fun
day. And, like, it's so weird because it was like, we got it done really fucking quick, is what I remember from that day.
It's because we'd kind
of timed out, and I'd given extra time for, like, certain things, and then I remember finishing and being like, damn, that's like in my head I was like, not like a long day, like fuck. Well, I was like, damn, we just like bam. It must be like 7, 8 o'clock when we planned, and we're like, it's 5 o'clock. It's still light outside. Like we're done. It was kind of crazy.
Really good. Like your fucking like shot sheet or whatever the fuck it was called.
Yeah, just
it was really good to like just be like, okay, what's next? And I think because of the simplicity of the idea. It wasn't like, now you need to get changed, do this. It was like, now just move. Like, just move the camera and do the different shot.
Trying to minimize all the shit moving around. And it was especially important because we had like the stuff where cameras had to stay where they were. And it was just, oh God. Yeah. Which is always like the scariest thing when people ask you to do that, because it's like borderline impossible. Like there's certain techniques and stuff that are like so scary, but like, are worth that effort. But yeah, goddamn, it's like the stress of like, especially like having to keep that camera at the back, and there's you, me, Matt, Alex, sometimes Tyler running around in the room. You're like, oh my God, with like lighting kit and stuff, like is
with everyone popping their head in through the fucking hallway every so often,
just to see what's going on. Like, oh, this is fun.
Forgetting that we are working. I'm shit-faced, but we're working, you know what I mean?
God. And then the added element of like the smoke machine, which definitely is like, your room probably still smells of smoke machine smoke. Like,
it's actually not that bad.
Oh,
it's actually not. I would have thought like at least like something would have changed, but no, because we really did like smoke ourselves out. It was quite funny.
Like when we first turned it on, we didn't really know how much it was gonna, because the first scene wasn't meant to be like smoky. It was just meant to be like a little bit of haze. And then it just spewed out for like 2 minutes,
so
and we were like,
downstairs.
fuck.
I came out of my bathroom and I was like, who the fuck has hotboxed my whole house? And I went upstairs and it was just like this thick fog. I couldn't even see you guys. It was so fun.
I swear that was probably where like, I think that's why I went into like that mode as well of just like go. Because in my head I was like, we had to wait 5 minutes for the smoke to like get to a normal level, and I didn't allot for that in the time schedule. I was like, fuck. Even though like it was fine, it took like not that much time. But
I started editing that with Midvision I think it was like a week ago, and I'm just very excited because like
I'm excited as well.
Yeah, there's a lot to play with. Like, although it's quite simple, it means there's more to play with in the editing part of it.
Yeah, because you and Mid have edited it, which is like quite odd to like just film a bunch of stuff and then be like, okay.
It's odd for me, you know. It's the first time working with Mid in that way of like, so he does video editing, and like, I know what I want my vision to be like. I do, you know, I've done like most of my videos with the editors or on my own, but working with someone that has like a completely different eye, who like wasn't even there for most, like realistically wasn't really there for most of the recording, so it's not like he knew exactly what to expect. He's also quite new to like hearing the song and stuff, so I'm excited to sort of leave it with him after a certain point, because I'm sort of, what we've done is got the skeleton there.
And then he can.
I think I trust you. Like, just go do your thing now.
Go add.
So I'm very excited because it's just like a new perspective on.
It'll be cool to see, because I've got your music video, which obviously like shot and lit and stuff. And then as well, another music video for Weirdo that Azim technically shot and is editing, but he hired me to just do the lighting stuff. And like, it's so weird to do a project and be like,
kind of hand it over.
Yeah, and it's just like, and now I wait to see what actually happened. Like, all I've seen is like a few screenshots Azim sent me, and that's like it.
I wonder whether, like, for both music videos, you have something in mind and it will be, like, either totally different or totally like the same.
In a weird way, like 100%. Like, because, like with yours, because I remember speaking to you before we did it, like, I thought you were going to send it to Midvision. He was going to be like in a different part of the country, like just get it on email and be like, oh yeah, I'll throw it together and send it back. So I was like,
I'm far too much of a control freak, and he thought that was happening too, and I was kind of like, no. But
in a good way, like in the best way, like for me that was good, because then when I was doing these shots, I could explain somewhat how they, like how I envision them being used, rather than like, because there's some shots that obviously like go together, some less obviously go together and stuff, which like was key to have that communication throughout, rather than just being like, here's a bunch of random footage, what you're gonna do. As like Azim's one as well, it's like I kind of know, because Azim's the one editing it and directing it, so he's like this, and then it's just for me to add
his fucking sheets. Like,
oh my god, he's calmed down. He used to go a bit overboard.
It works.
It did work,
and everything he creates is cool. So like, you know, if he got to be a little bit tism with it, that works for me personally. But
he's definitely like cooled down and got a bit more like willing to let stuff be like, here's where we can play and sort of thing. Yeah, but like it kind of scared me, because I didn't know he'd calmed down. So Azim asked me to do it, and I was like, yeah, send me through what I need to know. And he's like, we'll do. And then I didn't get the like 100-page spreadsheet you usually get from Azim. I got like a mood board and some like idea stuff, like the like, sort of the treatment. I was like, what's going on?
Am I
like
missing 100 pages?
Yeah, has he sent it and I've not seen it or something? Like, but yeah, it was super cool and like weird to. I think the weirdest part with that is because you're just doing the lighting. And then Azim was pointing the camera.
So you don't really feel like you had much creative direction.
Yeah, like there was some shots we worked together on, and it's obviously like two different eyes, but like a lot of the, like he'd tell me, this person's this person's this is where it will be in the music video, all the stuff. And it's like, how do you use just the lighting to tell more of that story? And I don't have to worry about like where the camera angle is or like anything else. I just have to tell a story with just in light, which is kind of an interesting exercise, but still like it's still scary when like sometimes you peer over the camera shot and you're like, that's not how I would have done it, but it's not my place to say, so fine.
It's not to look. You just have one of them things, you know, like horses when they have the little...
with the blinders and you can just, it's fine. Just get on with it. So it'll be interesting to see. But from what I've seen, like obviously Azim's great. It's you know, like, there's some cool stuff.
He's so good. Yeah. But that's where me and you differ, because that's why I could not just give the footage to Midvision and be like, do your thing. It's like, no. I was there like... No, like basically, when I'm editing with people, I'm basically just, I'm their brain and they're my hands. Does that make sense?
I could see that, and it makes sense for like musicians, especially like you work with like Titan as a producer. It's like your job to throw out ideas.
And then to like logistically make it happen.
Yeah, and also just like translate it into whatever medium it is. Like my job on SOS wasn't to like conceptualize the music video for you. It was to go, okay, so you've got this idea of it being as above, so below, and then say the smoke machine would be useful. The red lighting would be useful. The different things.
That's why I love working with creatives. Like, and I wouldn't go to like a generic. That's why I love coming to you guys for like my ideas, because like you just have a way of being like, this is what she wants. This is how we make it as similar to what she wants. Whereas like there are some people you could go to and they'd just be like, they just wouldn't be able to translate it that much, or you know, it would be quite generic. but like I just love working with people.
They'll just be like, so TK, get all your friends together. We've got 20 balaclavas.
Yeah.
We've found a car park. Let's go.
Car park shots. Stop doing the car park shots now, guys. We've done it, and it's the same fucking car park every single time. But yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Like, I would never just be like, listen to this song and give me your idea, because it would just never fucking be. It would just never be what I want.
And also, like, at the end of the day, it's got to feed back. It's your, like, when people see it, this is the other weird thing of being a videographer, photographer, or whatever, is like when people see the photos we put out or the video we put out, they don't see us. They see, like, you put out an anti-music video, they see it as anti. Like, and depending on the project, there's sometimes no one knows we're even involved in it unless they like really look for the credits or whatever. And that's what you have to keep in mind. Of like, if you're working commission based, it's like, it's not about, like, you have to bring ideas, but it's not about you, like, which is sort of the fine line. It's like Azim was doing a video for Weirdo. It had to be like, it was, I think, more Azim's idea. From what I can tell, it had a lot of Azimisms in it, but like, you know, and Weirdo obviously like trusted him with it. But Azim said to me, like, it's noir lighting. Like, I could have tried to change the whole video to be my plot line, but that wasn't my place. But we did tape up the mirror for it to make like the blinds effect and stuff, which he never mentioned. I was just like, this is how you do it, and it added something to the video, and it's just like furthered his vision rather than trying to
put your own
make it mine, which is like sort of the weird balance. Because the other way of doing it is, like you say, just being like, if you came up with an idea and we were looking at each other like, that's never gonna work in a million fucking years, like, it just, you could have come up with something like, and we'll get a helicopter shot and the camera flies through the wind. You're just like, it's not possible, you know what I mean? But like, the risk is you go the other way and you're just like, whatever they want, we just have to say yes. And then even if we know it's not going to work, and then it doesn't work, and then
they're unhappy with you,
and then it's your fault, and you're like, but we tried your idea and that was always the way it was going to go. So it's sort of like,
that's what's good about being on a personal level with you guys and with people that I work with musically and whatever, because like sometimes you can just get to a point where you need somebody to just be like, no, it's not gonna work. Like, and like, or I need to tell that person like, that doesn't work for me, even if it works well. Like, it doesn't. Work
it doesn't get across the point that you want it to get across, and it's like these weird aspects of like collaboration, and when like if you're filming or photographing, everything becomes a collaboration in some regard. Like, because you're always going to take a picture of something that is real, but it's trying, and like you say, having that little bit more of a personal edge always helps, because there's no like, I don't know what it would be like between the people. They're not like fighting each other, or like someone's not over dominating or anything. Like, everyone's trying to just make
the best
piece possible, and it's strange. It's like the hard, like, people say the hardest thing to figure out in like being commission based is like, how much should I be charging for things? And it's like, that's almost
a minuscule.
But the real challenge is figuring out like how much of like figuring out what people actually want 100%, because people don't know most of the time. They just go, like, the amount of emails we get that's like, how much would it be for a photo shoot? And you're like, what? You have to email her. It's like, well, it really depends. And you haven't given us a lot to go on. As like, when people is like that are good to work with, they'll come to you and they'll be like, here's the idea, here's blah, 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 and it's like, and here's why we're using you and not someone else, because we saw this or blah blah blah. And then you kind of know how you fit into that project, and like what you
these people know what they're talking about as well.
That's also like helpful. And but sometimes you'll realize they don't know what they're talking about, and you have to kind of steer them without making them feel too bad that they don't know. But it's also like not their job to know, because they're, you know,
it's your job. That's why they're coming to you.
Otherwise they just do it themselves, right? It's like, people like an easy life. So if we could do everything, we'd all just be doing stuff ourselves. But I'm just the rambling.
I think we've both been doing that. I can't lie. I think we've touched on
a fair amount of stuff.
Fair amount.
Wait,
whether it's
Creativity,
good.
the album, the single. We hit the bullet points of talking about anti stuff and some other stuff. So
yeah,
I feel like that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I feel like we just go off on way bigger tangents than I have with other guests.
You know what it is as well? Whenever something gets like mentioned that like I get like pressed about, like for example, I noticed the first time was when you said something about like people just doing stuff mainstream, like, and then changing, and I was like, no, we're staying on this for a second because I fucking hate these people. But yeah, no, I think we touched on. I think we at least got some anti-album shit going on. So yeah.
Nice. Is there anything else, or should we? I'd say that's
other than the fact that the album's coming out soon.
Nice.
And that you should be mentally preparing yourself for that. There's also a show, I think 11th of May it's going to be. So yeah, keep that in your minds. Buy tickets the last 3 days if you want, or on the door. But yeah, it's coming out. Watch out for that shit.
Sick. Nice.